I'm Robert.
I'm James.
I'm Dawson.
I'm Andrew.
And this is the Adrenaline Factory.
Alright guys, so you may have remembered from our last video, we've got this Acura TL in here. Right now what we're doing is, he had mentioned that for some reason, he's went through like 4 level sensors in the gas tank once he switched to E85. And I don't know if it's just something where, you know, the corrosion factor of it or whatever is just, I mean, honestly, the Hondas, when I looked at them, the resistance values of the sensors are way more sensitive than what most aftermarket ones are. So I'm thinking it's just the fact that the tracers on the rheostat are just so close together that any level of corrosion in there is like detrimental, like it just screws it all up. So what we're doing is we decided to make a new top hat, and this is gonna have a universal fuel level sensor in it. And it's a 0 to 90 resistance value, which is what is commonly used. And the Fuel Tech standalone that he has, that's one of the able channels that we can put on there. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna, originally we were gonna try to make it where a stock level sensor would work on the car, but then we just decided that it's gonna be easier and better to do it through the Fuel Tech and just have it on the little nano display. And another thing is, what was I saying? The thing here. It was something with the fuel. Oh, the level sensor on the stock pump is removable and it has its own pigtail, but it is not sold separately. So you have to buy the entire fuel pump basket and everything. And to have to do that every time and then cut the basket up to mod the pump, or even buy it and then unplug it and remove just that sensor is stupid. Because these level sensors are like 120 bucks and they're universal for that scale in all different heights. So it just kind of uses that same range, but they space the resistors farther apart on the stack up for the height difference. So I think it's a good option now because we'll have this. Plus, we were running the return and feeds through his top hat before, and the return was a little bit too small, so we'll get to maximize that on this one. So we just opted to buy a solid 5-inch chunk of aluminum from Metal by the Foot. That's the local metal supply store here to us. And then I cut this top hat shape out on the lathe. I actually drilled these two offset, which I had to do on the mill. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera or not, but this edge is a little bit chewed up. And that's because I didn't have the right size piece for my fly cutter to actually cut this edge with the fly cutter. So what I ended up doing is using a 2 3/4 hole saw, and the speed was a little bit too fast when I first started cutting, so it chattered and it put that ridge in there. I was gonna clean it up, but I don't have anything to bevel that, so I'm probably gonna do it by hand later, just kind of run the aluminum deburr bit around it. But so these that I'm tapping now, these are for the fuel level sensor itself. And then these other two, I've got 90-degree 1.25" NPT fittings for these, and they're going to be faced like this. And then this big hole here, I've got nylon hat washers to go through that on both sides, and it'll have a stud in it, and that's for the power feed for the fuel pump. And then the other hole is going to be for the ground, and it's kind of gonna double up on the top hat as the ground, so the whole top hat will be ground. And then I'll have a wire coming out of it on both sides for that. Also, today's Thursday, so yesterday was a day off for most of the guys at the shop, so we worked on the Infernus a little bit. I worked on some of the wiring again. Worked on this for the bigger part of the morning, and then the mill stopped working. The 3-phase converter or inverter.
VFD.
yeah, is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, so it won't even allow me to power up the machine right now. So I had to finish the rest of it by hand. It's throwing some weird code, and I can't find anything online about it because I can't even find the brand of this thing. So
it's a cheap VFD. It's probably the unit itself.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it lasted like 20 or so times, so that's pretty good quality. You know, we were able to put the machine marks on the top of it, and then I faced off the rest of the inside of this, and before I went back to fill in that other pass, the machine stopped working. So we'll fix it later, but for now it's just back to you know, minimal caveman shit, cutting it by hand with regular taps and T-handles. So, but it will be done. It's gonna come out good regardless. As long as I can get these tapped without breaking the tap off in the hole, we'll be golden.
Fingers crossed.
No, I make my own luck. Harvey Dent said it.
Harvey Dent. Can't be trusted. You ever seen Batman Finds?
Yes. It's freaking hilarious.
I just lost my voice. Sounds good.
That sounds good.
Just swear to me.
I like the one with the Joker where he's trying to get him to talk.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I can't. I'd love to help you out, but I don't understand what you're saying. Where are they? Yeah. I think you have like throat cancer or something. You should probably get that looked at. You know, hitting me isn't doing any good. I'd really love to help you out, but I don't understand what you're saying. Are those even words? Oh man. Anyway, we'll probably start back off with the Infernus here in a little bit. Till then, I'll be at this, and you guys be at whatever you're doing. Hi guys, welcome back. We were working on that stuff in the milling room, and we've got it basically fixed. Shortly after we cut video, I actually broke the tap off, which is what I didn't want to do. So we spent some time digging it out and ended up welding the hole in because we couldn't get all of it out. So we just welded it. I'm going to move the hole over. So right now it's cooling down. Figured I'd take a break and work on this for a little bit. This is the wiring we added to the front for the rear taillights and everything. We're on the back. I'm just going to temporarily make some jumpers and leads to kind of configure the taillights and see how they look when they're lit up and stuff. So give us a few minutes and we'll show you that. Alright guys, so we just got these wired in. Made some temporary jumpers on there. Eventually we're going to cut the connectors that are on the lights off and put some Deutsch connectors on or something like that. I've got everything wired except for the reverse light. I'm going to have to get the car up on the rack and find the wire in the harness to come off of it for the taillights, since this is all wired into the front fuse box, but when we move the engine to the back of the car from the Maxima, then the harness is now back here, so we got to find it. But I got the turn signals wired. Should be working. It's blinking fast because we don't have the front bulb on it also, it's just the rear. And if it's still not enough with the LED turn signals in the front, then I'll put a resistor in it. But got that one working, and then also the brake lights. So everything seems to be working good on. So kind of excited. That's pretty much how they're going to be on the car. It's actually about like that. I haven't decided if I want to leave them like in line or actually turn them to where they're directly in line, or just kind of mount them like how they are on the Infernus, which is like this. I kind of thought they'd look cool if I mounted them like this, where they're on the same line, but I don't know. We'll play with it and see which way looks better. But ultimately, they look really close to what we were going for. It's going to be cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Be sure to check us out next week.